All right. Good evening. I know we've been all waiting for this moment, but we can vent ourselves a little bit. And tonight will be one of those shows, no doubt. It's a lot to take in the last 48 hours or so. I know if you watch, you're a Gator fan, you're broken-hearted, angry, all those above. And we will take many of your comments tonight. This is going to be a meeting, okay? Shane Matthews, who did a terrific job today of breaking down the offense, is standing by in the orange blue room. Then we're going to have a church meeting of the orange blue bloods. We'll have Ben Troop, Lauren Meadows, and Franz Beard all coming your way here tonight. It's going to be a hot one right here on the Buddy Martin Show. Stay tuned. Shane is next.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Evening. Let's not waste a second. Get right to it. And by the way, we all fearful this might happen, and it did. It was not a pretty sight. Ugly, and a lot of people who are heartbroken and some turning away. But there are more football games to be played. And I thought Shane Matthews did a terrific job today on Pot Up with Matthews or breaking down the offense. There are many things wrong with his football team. Let's go right to Shane and see what he's got. Shane, good evening to you. And I liked your presentation this morning about the routes. There's a lot of talk about the fact that this team's kind of ragged in that department.
Well, I usually don't do that, but I felt like I needed to. It was hard. I wasn't in control of rewinding, and our producer, Zach, did a good job with it. But
all right. He's okay with it. Yeah.
He was elsewhere, so it wasn't like I had the clicker. But I'm going to do some good stuff that the offense did tomorrow, a couple plays.
Okay.
And this wasn't directed towards anyone. I wanted people to understand that, whether a quarterback makes a bad throw or quarterback gets sacked, is it always the O-line's fault? Is it the receiver's fault? Who the quarterback? To be a good passing team, everybody has to be in sync. And, I talked about two deep post routes, which were really good calls at that part of the game. And I don't know how we teach it. I just was trying to let people know how I've always been taught and how I taught it to kids, because it gives you a landmark to get to. And when you know where you're supposed to throw it and where you're supposed to get to it as a receiver, you're more effective. It's like, you got a higher percentage of hitting it. So I'm glad people enjoyed it. Like I said, I was very disappointed at the way we played in general. And this is not directed just at the offense. I thought our defense was not very good at all. The one bright side was our special teams was outstanding, I thought. Still a long season, but man, it's tough to see what happened the other day, and hopefully the Gators can turn it around.
Yeah, we're going to maximize every minute of your time tonight because I know you're busy, and I'm going to get you out here at a decent hour. But I want to hit on a couple of points. We have to start with, where do we stand on the scale of Fire Billy tonight, Fire Billy after the season, give him a shot to finish up the year and see, and then fire him, or give him another chance. Now, it's hard in this environment to justify anything because we got conned, as my friend told me. We got conned in thinking. We don't get to hear much information or see much. What we believed to be true wasn't. If you go down the list, Shane, with me, the defense is going to be better, right? The running games improve. Mertz is playing great. Special teams are great. All the checklists of things they told us were much stronger. They weren't stronger. I mean, Miami was the most embarrassing part of the whole thing was that Miami out muscled them, pushed them all over the field, and they were lucky to bring the ball carriers down. So without being an alarmist and saying, let's go after one game, let's fire everybody, where do we stand now, Shane, and what has to be done?
I don't know. I just think the results, we had to have better results. Whether people felt like they drank the Kool-Aid or however you want to phrase it. I mean, I thought we looked better in the few practices I went to than we did last year. I thought the additions were going to help. But, buddy, I mean, we got to be honest here. I think every team in America drinks their Kool-Aid, whatever fan base they are. You know what I mean? You've never had a coach come out of training camp going, we're not very good, we're slow, we're fat, we're weak. I really thought, and again, buddy, Miami could end up being a national title contender for all we know. They could be that good. I don't know if they are or not, and maybe we're not as bad. But it was not a good performance anywhere, and it was hard to swallow.
This just in, by the way. I'm sure you didn't think I was going to read it on the air. It says, buddy, Florida sucks. Worst team I've ever seen. He says, hold on. It's important I get this. Hold on. The worst thing I've seen. How about LSU and USC? I will say both defensively played. Quarterbacks look good, USC definitely. He said, so Terry Bradshaw, whose birthday it is today. Terry. So, yeah. So you're right, Terry. Florida sucks. We just have to take that, Shane. Florida sucks right now. And I understand losing a game. I get you're going to lose some games. I know Miami was one that maybe we could go either way. The biggest disappointment is they didn't compete very well. And they are not on the same level as these teams. And we drank the Kool-Aid. By the way, one of your closest associates that you know quite well called me after the game in the press box and said, what in the world happened? I thought they'd win. I picked them to win. So did everybody else. I picked them to win. We all drank the Kool-Aid. So we can put that on ourselves. But it's like this example. I was at a party last night at Jeffrey Mellon's house. A lot of big Gator fans there. We talked to what went wrong, whatever. The disappointment of not getting what you thought you were buying, so to speak. It's like if I brought my car to you, and so I got a Mercedes, and it's got 10,000 miles, and I'd like to sell it to you for $80,000. And you look at it and say, yeah, but it's got a couple of bald tires on it. I'll say, well, I'll fix those tires, and I'll bring them back to you, and then we'll talk about it. And then 6 months later, I drive back and say, check my car out now. I'm going to give you $2,000 off. Come out and see my Mercedes. You come out and see it, and the same two tires have no tread on them. Nothing changed, Shane. Nothing has changed.
No, and like I said, I was a proponent. I mean, I said the offense wasn't the problem last year, which I don't. Again, I always stated that we're not great offensively, but we're good enough to win games. But what we did Saturday is not going to win any games on offense and defense either. Like I said, it was just disappointing. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. It's probably I became a Gator in 1988, and it's probably the worst thing I've seen on the football field since then.
Wow. Well,
because even back before Coach Spurrier got here, my first 2 years, we were not very good on offense, obviously, but we were damn good on defense. And that's what's amazing to me is I can't ever remember Florida not having dudes on the defense side of the ball that get after the quarterback and cause havoc, except for the last 3 to 4 or 5 years. We've just been really bad on that side of the ball.
Yeah, it's just not good. And you made a great point in this, and I want to get to it. And I want people to say, oh, stop living in the past. I understand. Okay, I get it. But you made a very good point that your offense that you ran, it wasn't just the dips you do and all the trick plays. It was the fundamentals. And Kirby Bell told me the same thing. You mentioned receivers had to be on those landmarks. You had to start. If you were supposed to go 7 steps, you went 7 steps. And Spurrier was fanatical about that. And all of his teams. And then I even talked to Coach Spurrier, and he brought up the fact that why don't they take their steps and throw? Why do they go take their steps and stop and then try to read the field? They're not getting the ball out on time. Do you buy that? And so is that not true about Spurrier? Fundamentally, he was a Nazi.
Well, yeah. I mean, we worked hours on the passing game. In practices now they have so many different periods and going to this station, going to there, go to this drill. We didn't do that. And like I said, it's like this everywhere. It's not just the Gators. It's our philosophy. It's my philosophy. All I care about the quarterback doing is throwing on air, throwing one-on-ones, and throwing 7-on-7. That's all I care about. And it's crucial for landmarks, timing, spacing, all of that the receivers are doing it as well. And one of the plays that I drew diagram today was they came with the blitz. We didn't have enough to block, so Graham tried to throw his hot route to the back out of the backfield. But the way we had it running, you can't complete that. When you're hot, you have to look immediately in the flat. You cannot get up the field. And again, I don't know if that they're doing what they're coached to do or if they're doing something that they're coached not. I mean, I don't know. I just like to talk football when it comes to X's and O's. Yeah. I don't know what their philosophies are.
Let's don't dance around it, Shane. Let's don't dance around it. The offensive coordinator is Billy Napier. It falls.
That's fine. That's fine. But Billy Gonzalez is our wide receiver coach.
That's the other thing I want to say. Gonzalez he's known for his fundamentals too. I don't know what happened. I'm just bringing up points here.
Like I said, I'm not getting all over the offense. Offense was not good. The damn defense was worse. Okay, so I just don't think we're a very good football team right now. Can that change? Absolutely. I'm hoping, but time will tell.
Yeah, and last thing I want to say about that is that you said I listened to your color, you and Sean on your radio broadcast when the internet didn't go out, and you kept harping on one thing. Why are they getting a 3-by-1, a bunch on the left-hand side, and a single guy over here, and throwing the ball in the bunch where all the defenders are, and they didn't run anything away from it. And then, of course, the one thing they ran away from it was Montreal, and he went 71 yards. So explain a little bit about that. And then also there were some timeouts and whatever they came out of. They didn't help them a bit. They didn't seem to get anything from that. And some of the second, third down calls were uninspired. I didn't get it. So speak to that.
Well, if anybody listens to the broadcast, I look at it differently than most people because all I do is look at the secondary. Because I think that's the easiest way to score in today's world is throw the football. A 3-by-1 formation means 3 eligible receivers to one side, whether they're in their bunch, whether they're spread out, it doesn't matter. 3 guys to one side, 1 single eligible receiver to the other. Miami's plan was against the Gators, and I don't know if they do this week in and week out. They played cover 1, man coverage, meaning 1 high safety, man to man. Okay. The safety is going to basically line up kind of right over the football, maybe cheat a little way, maybe a couple yards to the single receiver. It is playing backyard football. We did it one time. I'll show it tomorrow. I think it was an RPO, though. Graham threw a back shoulder. He had man-to-man coverage to Elijah Badger on our sideline in the first quarter for like 19 yards. Easy throw and catch. Football is not complicated. It's all a numbers game, buddy. That's all Miami did to us. They lined up. If their one run play was the zone read, not the zone read, just the zone, inside zone. Let their guy pick a hole and go. If there were more guys in the box that they had for blockers, which they had 5 blockers, so if the Gators had 6 guys in the box, what did Cam Ward do? He faked it and slung it sidearm on a wide receiver screen. Because that means they had the numbers on the outside. Yeah. It's no different. it's that's all football is. If they got too many dudes in here to run it, let's throw it.
Yeah.
And their game plan was so damn simple. And he's a good player and he made plays, but that's pretty much it. And like I said, I know we're harping on the offense, and that's fine. I'm an offensive guy, but it's not like our defense did many good things.
Yeah, I agree. Can you take me through a couple of things? What was the most disheartening thing you saw? To me, it was the domination physically of the team. We couldn't even bring down the Miami tacklers, and that that wasn't necessarily even a technique. That was muscle. That was force, brute force.
Well, I think sometimes you're playing too high when the pile is moving backwards. If you're on defense, we're playing too high. We got our pad level way too high. That is disheartening. I mean, look, Miami. Everybody told us how good their front seven and their O-line was, and they were very good. I know pass protection at time wasn't good, but I feel like we can help these guys. And again, it goes back to the guy that I played for. Let's go back to the receivers or offensive linemen. Not everybody good is good at certain blocks, right? So, if you're a gap scheme, meaning if you like to run powers and counters, and Buddy Martin is the right guard, and you're not a good puller, Buddy, I can't call power with you.
Right.
You may be a good zone blocker. Okay, so we're going to call zone to your side. So if a lineman is not a good puller, you can't call that play. It's no different than as a receiver. We're going to talk about the receivers that played here. The Willie Jackson. Willie was not a down the field go guy, get it. He ran digs, curls, things of that nature. I don't think he ever ran a deep post because he wasn't a post guy. No, right. Doring had certain routes that he ran. And my personal opinion from the few practices, if I was going to throw the ball deep, Trey Wilson's one guy, Aiden Miles the other, and Marcus Burke would be my go down the field guys.
Right.
But I'm not at practice every day. I don't sit in the meetings. Like I said, this is just me talking out loud here and venting. And certain running backs do certain things well.
Right.
And that's just how it is. Not everybody does everything well.
All right. So let's address in the final minutes a couple of things. We know that a lot of people want to see Billy get fired, etc. That'll be played out however it's played out. Kind of out of our control. It does mean now it's going to be tougher to win 5 or 6 games, without a doubt. But how do you think Billy handled himself after this loss? And the comment that really pissed off a lot of people was about some guy in rural Florida in his basement, making that didn't go well.
Yeah, I heard that because I was doing my show with Steve Russell today, and the press conference is going, and we go on the air once it's over. So we did see that. Yeah, I don't know if it was taken out of context or what, because I didn't hear the whole thing.
He said it. He said
yeah. Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see or hear his press conference after the game.
Yeah.
Look, Billy's under a lot of pressure. We all know that. He wants to win. Things ain't going real well. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is we got to go beat Sanford and then try to find a way to beat A&M.
Well, but light a couple of candles. It could be a long air, Shane. We'll see what happens. But in your show tomorrow, will you talk about DJ Lagway? Because I saw a little something in him. I always have. I know he's green and raw, but I like his running ability.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's a runner.
He could change that offense quite a bit. And he's a good enough thrower. He's made some mistakes throwing the ball. I think I wasn't going to be one of these guys that should bring on DJ Lagway, but if they have to go to him, they got a player.
Yeah, I think DJ's got a bright side. I mean, he, what was interesting when he got in there, they threw two routes that I was begging for in the first quarter. Just you played man coverage, just throw slant routes. There's not a better play against man coverage than a slant, and he completed them both. Those are easy throws. Get them out of your hand. He made good, accurate throws on those. But look, DJ probably is going to be the starter. I highly doubt Graham's going to be able to play with being in concussion protocol. I don't know what the rules are in college, but if he was in the NFL, he'd definitely be out. Yeah, and Sanford is not your old Sanford, which surprises me under Chris Hatcher. He's a really good offensive guy, but they lost to West Georgia, and I don't know if they've been as good as they have been in the past, but be a good experience for DJ, no question. But again, there's so many more issues on this team than the quarterback position.
Shane, they were not ready to play that game.
Well, I don't know if that's the case or not. Maybe we're just not very good, buddy.
Any evidence that they were ready to play that game. I mean, show me something. I mean, I didn't like the game plan. I didn't like the play calling. I thought the effort might have been there, but there's same problem. I read a thing today that the guy who started, I can't gotta get the information there. Cameron Waits, is that who it was?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Had an 0 for a day in terms of his grade. He was that bad. Who in the world picked him to start? I don't get it. Why would you start a guy like that? I mean,
yeah, I mean they played a bunch of players. They play way more players than I would like. I come from the camp of you play your best players until they need a break. I don't know why we alternate so much.
Well, listen to this, Shane. According to Pro Football Focus, okay, the Florida Gators offensive tackle Cam Waits had a PFF passing blocking grade of 0.0.
Yeah, I get that, and I mean he struggled, and a lot of linemen struggle. I take nothing away from Pro Football Focus, and it's just like my analysis of breaking down plays, buddy. We don't know what the responsibility or the assignments are of the players. We don't have the playbook. We don't hear the play call, and we don't know. So I don't know how they grade that. I mean, obviously, I guess a guy's sitting there and a guy gets beat. Well, that's a minus.
Oh, I guess.
And again, his job may not be to protect this guy. He's trying to help. I don't know. I don't get caught up in the Pro Football Focus stuff. Look, my eyes just tell me we're not very good right now. We need to find ways to get better.
Yeah, yes. It's going to be a long year, Shane, I'm afraid. All right, so let's tomorrow morning you and I'll be on, I guess, if everything goes according to Hoyle. And I'm looking for anything new, something fresh, some idea, something to take me to another place, because I know Gator fans are depressed. Some of them are really depressed. I'll be sure and check the ledges tonight and all the big buildings around town, because they are very upset. So we'll dig through this together. I think this is
hey, it is what it is. I mean, we all want to win. We all want to have a good program, but I got up Sunday, buddy, went and played golf, shot 74. Yeah. It is what it is.
I think I'd like to have the Shane Matthews attitude about football and stuff.
Well, here's the thing, buddy. It's just I like to tell people on my show, I tell my buddies, look, I love the Florida Gators. I love football. It's very close to my heart. I'm passionate about it. There ain't a damn thing I can do about it. It's just like with politics and the election. Can't do a damn thing about it but go vote. Right?
But you're right. But this is the other thing. I was at a party last night for Jeffrey Melton. Happy birthday. There was this nice guy sitting there. I forget what he did. Older gentleman. Well, no, younger than me. But anyway. And he was asking me what I knew. I can't give you any answers. I don't know. And as I was walking out the door, he stopped me. Buddy. He says, can you give me any hope? I said, I wish I could. I said,
well, here's the thing, buddy. It's funny because, I'm sitting at a tailgate and you got buddies. I got a couple other former players at different eras that I tailgate with. And of course, the people there, they're good friends of ours. They will always want our opinion. We don't know. I mean, look, we have not been relevant in a long time, so it's hard to give anybody's opinion. We're just throwing things out there. We have no idea. And whether you, myself, or any other media people went to every practice, you're still not going to know until you go play an opponent.
I don't know anything because I'm in the basement in rural Central Florida.
There you go.
Might as well, by the way, for what little I get information-wise. of going up there and trying to get information and asking.
Could you imagine if we had basements, how hot it would be? Basement in Florida.
Yeah.
In rural Central Florida, no less.
There are a few.
Real hot.
Yeah. Shane, great job. We have a record audience tonight.
Approaching the record.
Three times. Well, biggest I've seen. Thanks to you.
Well, that's the only good thing that comes out of losing football games. Mm-hmm. Is sports talk radio will never die.
Will never die.
Talk to you in the morning, Shaner. Thank you, buddy.
All right, guys. Take care.
See you, Shane. We had a good show on this morning. We do have about folks don't know we're streamed live to about 5 or 6 different platforms at the same time. We are currently at 630 live viewers. So thanks for tuning in. Ben Troops in the orange and blue room here for any second. Buddy, do you want to listen to this Billy soundbite first?
Give us a little Billy and I'll do the read and we'll bring Ben in.
Okay, here we go. That's Billy Napier's from today's press conference.
You said a loss early can be a blessing if you don't waste it. What gives you confidence that this program can not waste this one?
I just think we've got the group of players that we have. I think observing them, we had almost the entire team came to the building yesterday when they were off, right? So I think that's a good example of, the type of group that we have here. So, look, they're embarrassed. That's reality, right? So, I said it post game. I think they know they're capable of better. And look, got every opportunity. There's a lot of football left here, and I think that's what we got to do. We got to focus on the next opportunity.
Result cause you to kind of look at any of the specific game prep process? Are there changes that you think you need to make immediately? What were your thoughts on just how the week leading up went and the processes within that?
I think offensively that I had, I think that I was a little surprised, to be quite honest with you. I thought we played much better. That's just the honest truth. I do think defensively there's a lot of good on the tape. I think Miami, I think the quarterback's a really good player. So I think he played a heck of a game, made some exceptional throws. He's a challenge. They got a good group of skill, and they did a nice job protecting him. So, but I do think the kicking game was impressive. So we got work to do.
What's DJ going to have to do to kind of accelerate his readiness, I guess would be a way to say it this week?
Well, you would like to think that he just finished preparing as if he was one play away from being out there. And I think ultimately that's what we try to do for the backup, is create an environment where, every day is a challenge, just like you're going to have to run out there, and be the starter the entire week. That's what we've always challenged the backup to do, is look, you got to start your week as if you're going to be the guy, knowing that the entire building is going to be dependent on you when you get that opportunity. And really that applies to all backups. I think you want a culture where the backup is working consistently as if he may have to play, because this is a game where players get hurt, and I think
didn't get much out of that. And, all right, let's do this. Our guys are lining up before we get in there and get the church meeting going tonight. And the church Orange and Blue Bloods. We just say happy birthday, Jeffrey Meldon. Thank you for all you do for the community. Also, thank you for sponsoring this show, which you've done for many years. Remember, Meldon Law is where you want to go when you have a legal issue. They also can help you win tickets, et cetera, and they're good people. I encourage you, if you have not been down there and you need legal help or just someone to give you a second opinion on a case, do that. They have offices in Ocala, Gainesville, Lake City, and Williston now. So Meldon Law, they will not back down. Evening, gentlemen. You are the hat guy, whoever you are. I don't know who you are exactly. And then I know Lauren. I've seen him on all these shows. How are you, Ben and Lauren?
Doing well, sir.
Yeah, doing well.
It's been a brutal couple of days. How are you guys weathering the storm?
I mean, unfortunately, Lauren, Brendan, buddy. We've been here a while. It's not. And obviously, when you talk, here's the thing about Saturday, right? That's always going to be a head scratcher. And Lauren, you tell me if I'm wrong. A lot of teams lost on Saturday, right? A lot of teams lost. Florida found a way to stand out in the loss, and that's the part that bothers me the most. Look, listen, I can deal with a loss. Cam Ward is an incredible football player, right? He is. The manner in which Florida lost, that's what I said. It's just hard to watch. It just is. And I'm not going to go crazy. I get it. Game one, I get it. But it's how we manage to stand out in the loss. With all these games going on, right? People are like, man, what's going on with Florida? What's going on? I will say this. I'm just going to talk about the effort because we lost in every major category. Yards per attempt, time of possession, third down, all that. I think the thing about this team that obviously when you talk about the offseason, still was a good one. When you talk about the players he added, still added some good players. That do not mean it's going to translate to the first game, in which it didn't. But it's always going to be a head scratcher because I just think that when you start talking about everything that was going in Florida favor, even in the losing effort, you didn't think it was going to look like this. Like you just didn't foresee it looking like this. But hey, man, shout out to the Hurricane, shout out to Cam Ward, the crystal ball, getting a big dub in the swamp. I just think that for people who saying everything they're saying about Billy Napier and his lack of emotion and all these different things, let me tell you something. I don't know what you expect him to say when he come on that podium. I don't know how much energy you expect him. Because here's the thing. If he would have went up there and he would have been super duper energetic, they would have said, what the hell is so energetic for? Certain times you just can't win in a situation like Billy Napier. If he would have said what you wanted to say, he shouldn't have said it. If
I'm going to say this, man. I'm going to try to move the ball around fast.
Yeah.
Because the whole congregation is here tonight, and in our pew underground here in our basements, and we're going to move the ball around. We're going to get some thoughts, and then we're going to read some of these comments. There's so many comments, Brendan. Something's really good ones there, and people are weighing in. This is a chance for people to get together, have communion, and figure out what's going on and speak of peace. And I'm going to get out of the way and let people talk. But I wanted to start off by saying good evening to friends. And let me just say this. Give me 30 seconds now on this. What's the most disappointing thing that you saw in the football game Saturday, friends?
The play on both sides of the line of scrimmage. I thought the Gators would be more physical than that. They couldn't block anybody, and they couldn't overpower anybody on the other side that was trying to block them.
Agree. That's 30 seconds, Ben.
Effort. I think sometimes when you talk about a game like Saturday, everybody was talking about, how the game was going to go. I know everybody keep looking at the interception where Big George wasn't hustling and things of that nature. Effort's going to win you more plays than the talent of play calling ever will. So for me, it was just hard to watch that effort from quarter one to quarter four.
All right, Lauren.
Defense as a whole, and then the offensive scheme. Just with an experienced quarterback, I thought they should have been running a lot more different concepts, and it just wasn't much that moved the needle. And then I agree with Shane a little earlier, just the spacing, the execution with some of the routes. Guys needed to be settling in zones, and they weren't. So altogether, just a team loss.
Yeah, Lauren, the thing about it is you were a wide receiver. We thought that the receivers are in good hands with Billy Gonzalez. Mm-hmm. Still think they are, but something was lost. And look, I'll give this to you, each of you for a 30-second response. And Brendan, if you want to jump in, fine. But let's go back around the horn with Lauren and about who's the offensive coordinator and how was his play calling on Saturday?
Well, the play caller is Billy Napier, and everybody knows that. So I didn't think the play calling was great. It lacked.
What was wrong with it?
Well, let me rephrase that. The schematics and the concept lacked what I would consider football imagination. It was there were things that were given to us that could have been, either hit on the fly or drawn up and should already be in the package that, like Shane said, weren't called, or they're not teaching the concept the right way. Like the interception Graham Mertz threw, the receiver should have been settling in the hole and working back towards the middle of the field against that safety, because the ball was going to be coming in hot, and that's how you protect yourself. Graham Mertz throwing through the safety should have been settling. There you go. That's
30 seconds on the Ben. There was some uninspired play calling, particularly the second and third down. Some people think, well, Billy was a rally killer. You get a big play, and all of a sudden you get a play there. What was that for? What's your thought about that? And respond to what we just talked about.
I mean, it's a lack of creativity, like Lauren just said. I mean, a lot about football is anticipation. I mean, when you talk about, a first down should lead to what you're gonna call on second down, and sometimes when it comes down to play calling, I mean, the goal of an offense is to put pressure on the defense, not to be predictable. And the thing about it is the whole scared money don't make no money. You got to call plays to get guys in position. Now, I do get it. Sometimes things are going to happen, but the more we play vanilla offense, the more guys run routes that way. The more guys start expecting, hey, man, it's not going to be anything within, go a little bit deeper into play calling. But like I say, if Billy Napier is going to be our offensive play caller, and you got these type of personnel, you're going to have to go a little bit deeper in it, because I get it. Miami game one, you're going to have situations like that. Defenses are only going to get more complex. They're only going to put more pressure on you as the season goes on. So I do agree with Lauren. Lack of creativity going to get you beat every time.
All right. Thank you. France. There wasn't a whole lot of rhythm to it. And it seemed like I don't know if the plays were scripted or not, but there just wasn't a good feel to how the plays were being called in. What was your take on all that? What do you think that was?
I think they got away from what they saw was going to work on the first play of the game. Those quick little passes like that, that's how you negate a team that's got a great pass rush, is you get the ball to people who can make yards after the catch. A 3-yard pass, a little 3-yard dump pass that the guy makes another 5 yards on, that's as good as any running play there is. And they got away from that early on, and I was very disappointed that it seemed that, as Lauren said, the offense was helter-skelter. It was all over the place. But I didn't see a concerted game plan that says we're going to attack here and we're going to be relentless in our attack.
Yeah. All right. Tony Parmenter makes a good point. We all said the so-called 12th man of the Gators was the swamp. It didn't bother Miami one bit. And I was asked by a prominent coach, why did Billy take his team out there early and keep him an extra half an hour? I don't know. But the bottom line is, why wasn't the swamp effective? It was loud. The fans were ready. But, Cam Ward just sliced it and diced it. What happened, fans? Go back around the horn.
Well, as Cam Ward said, if you're yelling once I get to the line of scrimmage, I already got the play called and I know what I'm going to do. When you need to be yelling is when I got the helmet communication on and I'm in the huddle.
Yeah. All right. So it's like our friend, who's the last guy? I can't read. He's right. A coach told me this, and I want you guys all commented. France, you take it and pass it around. That is that Florida is not running any rhythm in their passing game. They're not going 1, 2, 3, 1 steps and throw. They don't seem to have timing patterns. They're not throwing they're doing their steps, then they're stopping, they're doing the reads. And they said, you don't have time for all that. You got to get the ball out. Your thoughts, friends?
They definitely have to get the ball out and get it out in a hurry. They've got the speed that if they get the ball out in a hurry, they've got people who can outrun somebody. But,
Ben.
You can't take too much time.
Ben?
I mean, Graham Mertz got to have time in the pocket to get the ball out. I mean, you talk about the quick passing game. You do that to be able to slow up the pass rush. But the whole thing about Graham Mertz, no matter what, is when them footsteps start getting to you a lot, I mean, that quarterback clock is going off a little early in your heads. But I do think they're going to have to keep him upright. I said that. If he's on his back, that's not his fault.
A lot better player than we thought. And, Lauren, what about those quicker passes? And why do you think they didn't do it?
I don't know why they haven't done it. They did it against South Carolina for the game winner to Ricky Pearsall a year ago. That was a rhythm pass, worked the safety, and then came back to it. As far as the crowd, fans don't block or tackle, so that's why the swamp wasn't effective. And like I said, I mean, they've got to get a lot more precise and disciplined to have some type of rhythm. And like you said, they're coached by the best. I don't understand looking back on Elijah Badger's routes. When you look at him, it's very disappointing, but they got to get a lot more precise. I think they have it in the repertoire. It just needs to be called. And like Shane says, called at the right time.
Okay. All right. So we're going to do this now. Here's the deal. We have a record crowd tonight, more people than we've ever had on the show. For obvious reasons, they want answers. We can read some of these comments if we like, but I would like you guys just keep doing what you're doing. Let's do a quick commercial, and let me explain to people what this show is. This is the Buddy Martin Show, which streams 4 nights a week and sometimes on the weekend. We're here at 9 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Thursday. We'll probably do more weekend stuff as we go. These are some of my all-stars here. Franz Beard, who's also one of the best columnists anywhere around. If you're not reading him, you need to go to GatorBaitMedia.com and sign up and read him. Ben Troop, who's not writing yet, but he's going to start writing his skills. I'm going to sharpen your skills, right? Ben's with us at least once a week, and on Thursday night, Orange and Blue Bloods, but we had a church service tonight, so we had to call him back in. The pastor is here. I'm going to hear from him. And Lauren Meadows is doing 8 shows a week now. Everywhere I turn on the computer, he's doing something. But he, of course, was with us twice a week, sometimes 3. He writes a good pieces on analysis of football, former player and coach. If you're not reading him, you need to understand that what he does as a writer is really valuable. And check him out, check Franz out, and they even let me write sometimes, okay? That's what's happening. Our show is called The Buddy Martin Show, Gator Bait Media. Go ahead and subscribe to us right now here. It helps us a lot. All right. I'm gonna give you a little room to breathe for a second. What should we focus on here in the future without dropping the cliches like there's a lot more football left, whatever. And let me just say this about Brendan. He'll speak to it tomorrow night. He has been saying this from day one. And I know, Lauren, you heard it till you're sick of it. But how is Billy going to have the time to be an offensive coordinator when he's doing everything else? It's a fair question now. Let's go back around the horn with you, Lauren, and go back up to France.
Well, I don't know how he's going to have time. And my thing was that it wasn't the fact that I didn't think that Billy Napier needed to give the offense and hand over the play calling to someone else. My instinct in observing him and his comments and the way that he discussed the offense, I just knew that he wouldn't. So my thing has always been that, I think he should. I think the writing's on the wall. Maybe they need to bring in somebody similar to what Orgeron did with Joe Brady, with an entirely different system, things like that. But I knew that he was not going to hand over the play calling or the offense to someone else. So, I mean, at this point, they could change the way they do it in-house, maybe give Russ Callaway a little bit more leeway, a little bit more play calling duties. But even at the press conference today when I was sitting there, it did not seem, he said that Russ Callaway was coming along or made some reference to that, which says that for the foreseeable,
right.
For the foreseeable future, Billy Napier is going to be the play caller. And that's the truth. Dave Aronoff said, we want the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll talk more about that. Ben, what about it? Has he got more on his plate than he should have?
I think he does. And I think sometimes, when you start talking about head coaches in college who call plays, that list is very, very short. It is extremely short for a reason, because the guys that are the best at it, right, they're doing things like winning conferences and playing for, conference championship games and playing for natties. If what you're doing is not getting you winning the conference, playing for national championships or conference championships, deferring. College is way different than pros. You got a lot of players. That's a lot of moving parts. That's a lot of things going on. Give it to one guy. That way you can micromanage everybody else, because if what I am doing, I am not producing at it, either through my players or my play calling, when you the head coach, who's going to tell the head coach that ain't good enough? Because if he had an OC that wasn't getting the job, they'll get rid of him. That's usually what happens. OC ain't getting it done. I'm not getting rid of myself. And I think sometimes being able to just say, hey, man, this ain't working, that's a sign of a good coach who's trying to be a great coach. And like I said, I agree with Lauren. It ain't working. And I get it. It's easy for us to sit up here and say that, but we know what we're looking at. We know what we're looking at. It just ain't whatever the culture is and the messaging is, it is not transferring from the practice field to the playing field right now.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm just trying to keep going here. And France, we knew that offensive coordinator who would talk back to the coach. I heard it on the headsets myself the year I did the book. I was on in 2007 listening to all the conversations. And like him or not, it's a dirty name now. Dan Mullen, I heard him numerous times talk back to Urban Meyer. And he did it. He said, Coach, I want to stick with this. And so it can happen. So, France, what is wrong with the play calling and how do we fix it?
Well, one thing you also didn't mention, buddy, was during Urban Meyer's tenure, you had every offensive coach is plugged into the head coach. And, Urban could say something, Dan could say something, and maybe Billy Gonzalez is up there and saying, Lewis Murphy can beat this guy all day long. Hit him on a skinny post right now. It will work. And he could override. Every single offensive coach could override. And in this case, we have one guy making the decisions. And I'm not sure that he's getting an objective decision on this. He's kind of like, I think he has it set in his mind what he's going to call, and he gets a suggestion and maybe it bounces right off his ears. I'm not sure of that, but I don't see a lot of flexibility in there. Maybe you guys do. I don't.
Okay, I'm going to give you a couple of questions to consider now and take two and get to right. Let's be clear, France, you're not in the basement, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay, good. That's good to go. All right,
Would you like me to be? I could get.
The whole church pew is down in the basement. So ours little church pew is down. We're in the pew right now, and we're having our little church meeting right now. We're talking about what has to be. So we're going to talk frankly about it and saying the things that we wouldn't normally say and what the fans are talking about. All right, you got to go hire a coach today, France. Who do you get?
Well, if I had to hire a coach today and anybody and everybody is available, I'm in Oxford, Mississippi, and I'm saying, Lane, come on down.
All right. That's it. Be a popular choice, man, with a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a popular choice because at the end of the day, he's doing things at Ole Miss that's never happened. Not something we've seen before. They went from 9 to 3 to 10 to 2, 11 to 2. He got a quarterback, he got an offense, right? And he got a defense that's gonna play complementary football. That's all college football is. Give me a quarterback that can get the offense going. Give me a running game that can be complementary to the offense, and give me a defense that's gonna get off the field on third down. Lane Kiffin got people trying to figure out where the hell is Oxford, Mississippi. You ain't gonna find it on your GPS, maybe on Google Maps. And these dudes got a shot to be one of the best teams in the SEC. Look, at the end of the day, coaching at Florida is hard. And I mean, we got to find a way to get it done. Because at this point, buddy, like I said, I can deal with a loss. I cannot deal with being one of the worst losses of the weekend. It's like it stood out. Losses in college shouldn't stand out when you got this many games going on. And
we're going to give you a chance to have a little mini sermon here in just a minute. And that'll be all right. All y'all got a chance to preach tonight because the church pews are open. And y'all come on up and let's hear it from you. But, Lauren, that's kind of low-hanging fruit, Lane Kiffin, all right? That's the obvious answer. Who else out there is someone, if you were the AD, you'd look at?
Jed Fish. History with Florida from the glory days with Spurrier, has remarked about the passion that he has for this community, this program. The heyday, understands. I think he would be able to relate some of the people, person type of things, the intensity of what that was and what a lot of us are clamoring for. So I think Jed Fish, who is now at Washington, I think that would be outside of Lane, which is the low hanging fruit. I'm gonna go with Jed Fish, and quarterback play seems to be dialed into that as well. So I would go Jed Fish.
All right. In a second, we're going to let you talk freely among yourselves. I just want to come back through one more time, and for a little sermonette, And let's start with Pastor Ben. You want to say something, get it off your chest. You got a minute and a half and lay the sermon to us. This is the Orange and Blue Blood church meeting. Go, Ben.
Look, at the end of the day, look, I'm getting all these everybody on X coming at me. I feel just like Shane. People be coming to myself and Buddy and friends and Lauren. Hey man, tell us what we should expect. We don't know. We only giving you what we feel. I don't know at this point, because at a certain point, when you get to listen, we are what the record says we are, and we are what we put on tape at this point. I don't like it. But I'm not going to jump ship. I get it, it's week 1, and you're going to have to find a way to get it done. But I just want to know why it's not translated. I really, really want to know, because the whole thing about it is you got veterans, check. Good quarterback, check. Transfer portal, check. Recruiting, check. Messaging, check. Play, no. It's not hitting. And I just think that, it's too early in the season to call a players only meeting. It's week 1. But like I said, and I'm going to keep saying, if 1-5 is on his back and he's hearing footsteps and you're not giving him route concepts to go through, it's going to be a long year, because I thought that it was going to be the run game and the passing game was going to complement it. Listen, you talk about less than 300 yards total offense in college football. You know how hard that is to do? 300 total. We didn't even get 300 total yards in the whole game. And Montreal had 100 and something of that. I'm just saying, for me, I just want to be able to say, hey, man, you got to have something to go. And again, the linebackers did play well. But like I say, Cam Ward, 385 yards passing. And you only gonna get better quarterbacks down the line. When you talk about the ones that you got coming, we're gonna have to find a way to to look ourselves in the mirror, decide if this is really what we want to do. Because everybody want to play for the orange and blue until you out there. And I'm gonna say this: as much as I do not like what happened on Saturday, players control the game. I don't care who the coach is. And when people say, "How you know?" I love Ed Zomberg. That's the homie. You know what our route concepts were when I was in my last 2 years? They were menus. We had menu 1 through 9. That's it. Give me menu 1, give me menu 2, give me menu 3, and we beat Georgia with a goal string. So don't give me that. Oh, listen, I don't want to hear them players complaining when it don't go well. I will never, ever blame a coach for what a player controls. Players control between the lines. So they got to find a way to get it done.
Pastor Troop, and I know what you said there. A lot of truth in that. Friends, Shane had some interesting comments about the passing game, the timing, the plays that didn't develop because of 1-6, one after the other. We know Spurrier, he had his landmarks and precision, whatever. Wouldn't you think that this team coached by Billy Gonzalez would have more precision in their routes? And what did you think of the passing game, Franz? You got a minute.
Well, the passing game, the routes are set by the offense, okay? The wide receivers coach, his job is to get the players ready to run the routes that the offensive coordinator or head coach calls. I'm not going to put that on Billy. I think his guys run good enough routes. I think they run precision routes. But I think, as Lauren has mentioned before, and as Shane probably said before too, you're not going to win against sophisticated defense with simple routes. You're just not. Billy Gonzalez can teach any route you want, but you got to give him an opportunity to do it, and you got to have an offense that caters to what he can do.
Right.
We talk about complementary football. Complementary football is also on the offensive side, where you complement what your offensive line does, for example, is complemented by a good running game, for example, or maybe they're better pass blockers. So you complement by catering to that area. Florida does not cater to its passing game by giving us good, sophisticated routes capable of beating sophisticated defenses.
All right, good stuff. Thank you. Let's go to the Deacon. That would be Lauren, Deacon, to wrap it up. I know you've had some angst about this for quite some time. You felt like the program might not be going the right direction. Fill us in. You get a minute to preach.
This is a team loss. There's an awful lot of talk about offense. And even if the offense would have played well, they would have had to score 50 because defensively we did nothing to affect the game. Absolutely nothing. Florida didn't get a pass rush. I was with Shane when he counted the 10 Mississippis. I counted 10 as well. There were several times where Cam Ward literally stood back there flat-footed and literally looked around. He scrambled, and on the first scramble, he probably could have scored. He just looked around and said, well, I'll just go down now because I'm pretty much playing backyard football with these guys. They have been historically bad on defense for 2 straight years. The defense has issues. The offense has issues. And special teams, we don't know if they had issues really because Miami only punted twice. So this is a team loss. Trying to pick out one particular thing is going to drive everybody crazy because everything was bad.
Agreed. Well said. We each got 15 seconds to say what needs to be first. It could be anything from firing Billy to getting a new table. I don't know. What needs to be done immediately? Let's go back around with Lauren, and then we'll let Franz end up. 15 seconds. What needs to be done? You want to fire Billy? What do you want to do?
No, you just got to play more physical football. You got to find a way to get more physicality out of the football team at every level, on the perimeter, in the trenches.
Out there going to settle for that?
What's that? It doesn't matter. It's football. It's football. That's football. That's football. But that's football. You got to get more physical. If you got to hit in practice, if you got to do. What's that?
They said they were more physical.
Well, you got to keep playing. It's going to come down to that, buddy. They got to be a more physical football team. That's just the way it is at every level. They got to be more physical. That's
right.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, they got Ben. They got to do what they say they're going to do.
Yeah, and they gotta want to do it. The whole thing about it is all these different things we be saying, like they be doing guys mic'd up with different things. You gotta want to do it. Football is a want-to sport. You can get out of here with that talent. It's for players who really, really want to do it. Because on Saturday, you can't hide. You cannot hide on Saturday. Because the thing is this: don't talk trash to people who can't do what you do. When they line up in front of you, you got to prove it. The NFL. College football is an update your resume every single day type sport. And like Fran just said, I don't want to hear nothing if you ain't doing it when it matters. It don't matter what I could have done. You got to do it. And I get it. It's a lot more scrutiny on them, but it's a 1-2 sport. Those who want to do it, those who want to do it, prove it. They used to tell us that. Those who want to do it will prove it on Saturday. And like I say, you're the biggest brand in the state. You're one of the most one of the elite programs and elite seats in the state. You got to go out there and prove it because, like I say, no one's going to feel sorry for you. And I don't care if you got a 20 next to your name or an 18, 19 next to it. If you step out there, you one of them ones, and you got to prove it.
Franz, take us home. We'll end with the prayer meeting and get out of here.
The game. Vince Lombardi won all those championships and is considered the greatest professional football coach of all time. He had a playbook that was 30 plays, and he said, "Let everybody else try to beat you with the sophistication." He said, "The game is still about blocking and tackling. You block better, you tackle better, you win better. It doesn't matter how many plays you've got or whatever. If you can't block, if you can't tackle, you can't win." Florida didn't block against Miami. They didn't tackle against Miami. And if they don't block and tackle better in the remaining 11 games, it's going to be a long, disastrous season.
All right. I'm going to give you a bonus of 90 seconds to talk among yourselves and figure out what you want to say. Go.
Well, I'll start this off by saying I'm terribly disappointed. There's still 11 games to go, but there better be a sense of urgency starting this coming week when we see them against Samford.
I am mystified at a team that clearly has upgraded its roster. They have. That is clearly bigger. Yes, they are. That they continue to. It seems like this is a football team that has not figured out how to operate Monday through Thursday when the game plan is being instituted, created, and put in place. It has to be that. And within the walls of the Hefner Center, there is something going on. You have a head coach that never mentions the word physicality. It amazes me. And like Fran said, it is a very simple game. And, when we talk about imagination on offense, you can run 50 different plays out of one formation, but you got to figure out when to call it and things like that. So, I would love to be a fly on the wall in both staff meetings, but it just isn't getting done. And I think they have a practice problem. I think that's where it starts. They have, and obviously we don't get enough to see, but I think they have a practice problem. This team's issues occur Monday through Thursday and manifest on Saturday.
When I was in Florida, they used to tell us, they said, all liars don't speak. They used to say, all liars don't speak. I was like, Coach, what the hell that mean? I mean, what are you telling yourself when you look in the mirror? Some of y'all lying. And it's showing on Saturday, right? Just because you've been here a long time don't mean you should play. Just because you got a lot of experience don't mean you should play. Don't mean just because you got junior and senior next to your name don't mean you should play. You got to start telling the truth, because you know what the truth is? Saturday afternoon. That's the truth. All that other stuff is great. If you ain't getting it done on Saturday, that's the truth. So I just hope, them boys take a strong look at themselves. Because once again, you only going to be able to blame Billy Napier for so much. Because they're going to say, okay, what did you do? You play, right? Yeah. So what did you do? Because we ain't privy to go watch the tape. When everybody talk a bunch of trash before the game, you know how it is, Lauren. When you're watching that game tape, it's quiet in there, boy. Because now you
don't lie.
They should have let the whole team watch the game tape as a team. Don't break it up offense, defense. Because I want to know how the play's supposed to look. Because sometimes as offense, I don't know what the defense running. Defense don't know what the offense running. Let us watch the tape as a whole. So coach can say, you see this right here? You see this right? And you're going to get tired of it. See this right here? See this right? Don't get up and go to the bathroom. Look at it. Because you are what the tape says you are. And for me, listen, do I think Miami is that much better than Florida? No. But for one afternoon, they were. So, hey, man, let's shout out to them Hurricanes. But like I said, we got to stop lying to ourselves. And I'm going to say this to the players. Love y'all. You cannot keep hiding behind what Billy Napier is doing and not doing. Because Billy Napier called plays on offense. You know who nobody talks about? Coach Armstrong. They ain't said his name one time. So I'm just saying, it is a group effort. It is enough bad ball to go around. And like I say, man, we got to get this. You got to listen, forget the fact that you lose. You got to get tired of it looking like that. That's us. If I played for Florida, when I was at Florida my last 2 years, they told us, y'all boys were 8-5 and 8-5. Y'all going to be the worst team ever come through here. That used to be in my head. Dang, we lost 5 games 2 years in a row. I only lost 5 games in 2 years with Coach Spurrier. So for me, I just want them boys to just, go play. Just because we play our best football don't mean we're going to win. But we don't even know what that look like. Like, when the last time we said that was a great game and they were just better than us? No, it'd be, like I said, it's a head scratcher, Lauren, friends, and Buddy. But at the end of the day, right? Listen, I am at a dance recital. I'm at my mother-in-law's dance recital. I am standing next to a Georgia fan. You know what he said? Man, what the hell going on in Florida? That's a Georgia fan. Man, what's going on with Florida, Ben? I don't know, man. I don't know. But I ain't going to keep blaming on Billy Napier, because guess what? He don't run out there. Because he had it work this weekend. With a good job, Billy. They're going to call the same plays. They don't get to kill the playbook and come with something different. We don't call the same plays. Players got to know the difference between man and zone. When I got to sell into that zone, but once again, they don't tackle. They don't get out blocks. Like I say, defense was bad, offense was bad. Anything that was good, DJ Lagway, let me tell y'all something, people. When the game is over, you don't know how good he's playing. That game is over by then. By the time DJ gets in, the people talking about the comeback is on. The comeback wasn't on. The game was over by then, and we just got to do better. I believe we will, but that player coach, happy-go-lucky Billy, listen, my name would have been 4-letter words. Coach Bird didn't do a bunch of cussing, but he knew how to get your attention. I'm telling you, he knew how to get it. So we'll see what happens, man, because one thing about it, man, ain't no weeks off here no time soon. They better get right.
France, tell what happened to you tonight when you went to the Villages, what people had said to you, and we'll close it off.
I had a speaking engagement at the Villages, and I got to tell you, folks, 20 people at least come up to me. Out of those 20, only one of them had something positive to say about the Florida Gators. It's and I would say since Saturday afternoon, counting the texts, the calls, and the emails and the face-to-face, probably 2 positives, 98 negatives. And that's, I never thought I would see the day. There was more positive stuff when Will Muschamp lost to Georgia Southern than there is this, because at least when Will Muschamp lost to Georgia Southern, he had the excuse that he was playing his fourth string quarterback because numbers 1, 2, and 3 were injured.
All right, guys, great job tonight. It's going to be interesting these next few weeks as we continue this. We will continue to have sermons by these free gentlemen on the Church of the Orange and Blue Bloods and the Underground Pew here in rural Florida. All right. And thank you very much, friends. Ben, Lauren, great job. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. All right. Thanks, guys. All right, folks, we'll wrap this up and say thank you to our sponsors, particularly tonight, Star Medical Research. They've been with me so long. They are awesome in terms of their responsibilities and commitment to the community of Ocala and the things that they do. And they also are taking care of us and our health. They want you to understand the concept of clinical trials, why they're so important. They have these clinical trials, and by the way, there's always something going on. You go to redstar.net and find out which ones they are, and you can volunteer for them and take part, and you will get time and you'll get compensation for time and travel, and the information, the data they'll use to send off to these companies to prescribe better medications for us and how to treat us. All right. So I encourage you, if you care about your own health and health of the people, you might get some investigational medicines and things and even equipment that you wouldn't get other places. Start that and find out about it, and I guarantee you, you will find lots to talk about there. Star Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Great job by Brendan. Great job by our team. And we're back at you tomorrow night with more right here on the Buddy Martin Show, live on the SEC Network.